Hi everyone, I'm Kurt Wadsworth, founder and CEO of DorothyAI. Today I'm super excited to tell you about our Activ8 Alignment tools. Activ8 Alignment brings patent and market data together into easy to understand charts and tables that explain the patent landscape, giving you the information you need to create a successful patent strategy. We're going to investigate MagSafe technology as an example. Magnetic charging is not magic. Let's dive in. Welcome back. I've spent most of the last 20 years building patent portfolios for companies large and small. The overwhelming majority of the conversations I've had with my clients in that time are centered around prior art and protecting my clients' technology. Generally, inventors provide an overview of competing technology as they understand it and point to potentially blocking academic and patent publications. In some cases, we carry out a prior art search. We might discuss competitors, but generally these discussions are focused around distinguishing our tech from theirs. The goal is always to issue a patent before the competitors. 12 to 24 months later, we might take a look at the competition a little more closely before we file an international patent. However, in the vast majority of cases, patent applications are filed in the Big Five: US, Europe, Japan, Korea, and China, if the client can afford it. The question of whether the strategy was successful is typically answered during due diligence, which invariably results in conversations with investors or acquirers about why a patent wasn't filed in this or that jurisdiction. We need a better understanding of the patent landscape early on, and we need to stay on top of our competitors. In the words of Eric Allison, president and managing partner of Staffing Venture Capital, world trade means competition from anywhere. Advancing technology encourages cross-industry competition. Consequently, strategic planning must consider who our future competitors will be, not only who is here today. Business leaders and investors expect their investees and partners to keep a keen eye on their competition. And not just direct competitors in your primary markets. They're also looking for you to know who cross-industry competitors that deploy similar technology in what you consider secondary markets are doing. At Dorothy AI, we're dedicated to fulfilling this need. Here's how we do it. The Activ8 Alignment tool answers three basic questions. First, what patents or patent applications are directed to technology similar to my product? 2, who's pursuing these patents and patent applications? Through this process, we'll learn not only who our competitors are, but we'll also learn about potential acquirers, licensing opportunities, and potential partners. Finally, Activ8 Alignment answers the question, where will filing a patent give me a competitive advantage? In other words, where can I get the biggest return for my IP investment? We'll look at where our competitors are pursuing patents and where they're doing business internationally. We'll also look at which jurisdictions make the most sense to file in. These data will lead to discussions about where it makes sense to pursue patents that will give you a competitive edge. Okay, so how does Activ8 Alignment work? Let's perform an example search using MagSafe technology. This technology is described in U.S. patent number 1044089, inductive charging between electronic devices, which was filed by Apple back in 2015. MagSafe allows you to charge your phone using an induction by bringing a charging puck in contact with a charging mechanism in your phone. Apple uses magnets to ensure that the charging puck is properly aligned with the internal charging mechanism, optimizing inductive charging, causing your iPhone to charge faster with an Apple certified charger than a non-certified accessory charger. Activ8 Alignment starts with a specialized Dorothy AI search. Our DorothyAI technology is described in our novelty and freedom videos that I've linked in the description if you'd like to do a deeper dive. DorothyAI uses an ensemble of search models that simultaneously search a natural language query. The results from these models are compiled, and back and forth references associated with each result are also added to the results list. This list is then sorted by actual relevance by directly comparing the words, sentences, and paragraphs of the query with the words, sentences, and paragraphs of the result. Highly relevant references are returned at the top of the results list every time. Activ8 Alignment takes a query composed of each component of the product and simultaneously performs an ensemble search for each component. The results identify patents describing similar technology across industries. Perhaps more importantly, the search identifies the components of the product with the highest potential for patentability. In this case, we use independent claim 6 of the 089 patent as our query. Each element of the claim is inputted into an individual query box. We'll then identify required elements, which upweights the elements that we're most interested in. In this case, anything that has to do with the alignment magnets and inductive charging will be required elements and will be upweighted. Weighting is discussed in our freedom video, which you can check out below. Identifying required elements reduces the number of results that describe components in the public domain that are commonly found in electrical devices. For example, the enclosure and the battery flood search results in Boolean type queries, making it almost impossible to find the things you're looking for. Activ8 Alignment uses these results as a starting point to answer the first question. What patents and patent applications are directed to technology similar to my product? Because we're searching claims, we can assume that the returned results represent technology that's commercially relevant and not simply background information. Comparing sentences and paragraphs rather than searching for individual words ensures that the results describe the components we're looking for in context. In addition, we cap the relevancy score at 50%. The results we're analyzing will therefore be highly relevant to your product, and the data we gather from these documents will be relevant to your business as well. The next question, who is pursuing these patent applications, is answered by cross-referencing the publication numbers of the returned results with our patent owner and licensor database. This provides a list of current owners. We plot the current owners against the number of patents returned in the search to get a better understanding of who the big players are. Perhaps not surprising in this case, Apple is leading the way with our MagSafe search by a broad margin. Mojo Mobility, Qualcomm, and Samsung also appear on the list. We also see companies like GE Hybrid who are creating technology that uses magnets and inductive charging for electric vehicles. In addition, we find Advanced Bionics, Syntheon, Leviticus, Cardio, and Cochlear who are using this technology to charge medical devices. Inductive charging technology clearly has uses outside of cellular phones. Cross-industry partnerships and licensing provide potential revenue streams and opportunities to strengthen your patent position without actually developing additional technology. Opportunities like these are overlooked in almost every case. Activ8 Alignment, on the other hand, brings this information to your attention early in the product development process, allowing you to explore these opportunities before they're snapped up by your competitors. In addition, it gives you the opportunity to build additional revenue streams into your business plan, keeping your company healthy. All right, on to the next question. Where should I pursue patents to get an edge on my competitors? This question is complicated. You need to consider not only where your competitors have filed applications, but also where they're actively doing business. Remember, the patent rights give you the power to stop infringers' commercial activity. If a competitor is manufacturing a device in Indonesia, for example, and their manufacturing process infringes your Indonesian patents, you can stop them from manufacturing that device, which will negatively impact their business, most likely. Most consumers aren't looking for a build your own iPhone kit. They just want to unpack it and put it to use. It's important to remember you can't enforce your patent if the government in Indonesia isn't willing to or capable of shutting down your competitor's factory. This is a big problem in many jurisdictions. Because of these inconsistencies, we've built a jurisdictional realities database that quantifies various factors associated with technology development and intellectual property rights in 139 jurisdictions from Albania to Zimbabwe. We've aggregated and normalized these jurisdictional reality factors into categories: innovation, government, enforcement, patenting, and commercialization. We weight each of these categories based on your answers to a number of questions that help our algorithm understand your patent strategy. For example, if you're primarily interested in enforcing your patent rights, the enforcement and government categories are upweighted. If you're more interested in building a patent portfolio to impress investors, the innovation and commercialization categories are upweighted. Because Indonesia has a developing patenting system, it scores poorly in patenting and enforcement. You'll be facing an uphill battle to enforce your patent rights here. If your strategy is to stop manufacturing, you should look to another jurisdiction like Korea, for example. Korea has a much more advanced patenting system and judicial system, which is illustrated in their patenting and enforcement scores. We also take into consideration and upweight jurisdictions where you're doing business, since it's often a good idea to file patent applications in countries where you have headquarters, major suppliers, or sales activity. We gather this information both when you start a project on the platform and when you submit a form for an Activ8 Alignment report. Right now, we're gathering commercial and market data from 13 individual sources, and we're continuing to add sources to meet our customers' expectations. We use these sources to obtain information about global revenue streams and to estimate commercial activity that's attributable to customers and suppliers in each jurisdiction where our competitors are active. Our goal is to create an extremely rich data set that puts you in the best position to make decisions about where to file your patents, to ensure that your patent strategy and ultimately your business is successful. Each jurisdiction is scored for competitor filing frequencies, competitor business activities, and jurisdictional realities to produce an overall ranking of the jurisdictions where competitors have filed patents and are doing business. DorothyAI is the only company with access to a lot of this data. In the words of Billy Mays, don't be fooled by imitators. Back to our example. After analyzing our search, layering on top filing frequencies, commercial data, and jurisdictional realities, the overall score for MagSafe search are provided in the first column, sorted highest to lowest. Not surprisingly, the US scores the highest, followed by the major Asian jurisdictions, China, Japan, and South Korea. At mid-tier, we have a handful of European countries, as well as Canada, Australia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Singapore stands out in mid-tier countries as having a low filing frequency. However, Singapore's government enforcement and patenting scores are all very high compared to the other countries on this list. Additionally, electronics manufacturing output was around 150 billion in US dollars in 2022 and is growing at a rate of around 5% a year. Filing a patent in Singapore is definitely worth the discussion. Finally, if we look at our low-tier countries, we end up with the South American countries, Russia, and a couple of smaller Asian countries. The reasons behind these scores are provided in the adjoining columns. As part of our calculations, we identify all international patent filings from the list of search results and calculate the filing frequencies for all of these jurisdictions where patents were filed. This data is reproduced in the frequency column of our report. In the relevance column, we've calculated the average relevancy of competitor patents filed in that jurisdiction. This gives you some insight into where your competitors have filed patents that could impact your business. The higher the score, the more likely it is that you'll have a patent that you may need to worry about. Where your competitors are doing business is much harder to determine. To get this information, we'll need to take a deep dive into those 13 sources I mentioned earlier. First, we estimate where your competitors are generating revenue using GeoRev, as we talked about before. Next, we estimate commercial activity attributable to customers and suppliers in each jurisdiction where our competitors are active. These data are provided in the columns labeled customers and suppliers. The overall score being calculated, we produce a color-coded map with high, medium, and low priority countries that you can use to start the conversation about your international filing strategy with your patent attorney or client. As you can see, there's a lot going on behind these relatively simple alignment reports. If you want to keep in step with your competitors, wherever they are and whatever industry they're operating in, and you want to create data-driven strategic plans for your patent and business strategies, Activ8 Alignment is the tool for you. And this video only discusses the basic report. We offer a number of advanced reports, and we're happy to produce specialty reports as needed. Contact Sharon Schaffner-Meyer at sharon@DorothyAI.com for more information on basic, advanced, and specialty reports. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.